What's up, A to Z Sports live on an NFL draft day. The 2025 NFL draft is now just hours away, then less than 12 hours away. The Titans will have selected Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami, as the number one overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft, something we've known for weeks, a month plus.
I stopped hearing you, so I think that's on your end. All right.
Yeah, something's messed up with Sam's mic. That was crazy. We are hearing some crazy feedback. Let's try to reconnect that, because that was not exactly how we want to start off the show. Reconnect your mic as I do this, and I'll do the intro again, because that was brutal. I don't know what the heck was that was, but Cam Ward's gonna be the number one pick. We know that. The Titans did make a splash signing last night. People are gonna make fun of the splash name of that, but Tyler Lockett was signed late last night. Sam, are you back?
Checking.
We're good.
All right.
No crazy feedback. I don't know what was going to happen, but people's ears were going to be bleeding if that continued for much longer. But Tyler Lockett signed with the Titans, surprise signing. What does that mean for the Titans in the draft after taking Cam Ward? We're going to discuss that. And then something, Sam, that you wrote about yesterday about the jersey number that Cam Ward would maybe wear with the Tennessee Titans. I have an epiphany about Cam Ward and jersey number 1, an update from Warren Moon, and your opinion on that, and everybody's opinion on that. And then we'll wrap things up on a draft day morning with sports trivia. Welcome in now. Let's get it going.
All right. Hey, let's get it going. This is going to be a good show. We got a couple of good conversations to have. You and I were starting to think like, all right, well, what can we talk about when we're heading into draft day? And Cam Ward's coming, and we know Cam Ward's coming. Well, the Titans did us a big solid, a big favor with the signing of Tyler Lockett. So a good conversation about that this morning, like you said. And I cannot wait for our debate in the second half of the show. You got to stick around for that if you're watching. And before we get into it, you have to share the show. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button in the bottom right corner. If you're watching on YouTube, take that YouTube link, send it to a friend that is a Titans fan, an NFL fan. Tell them, it's draft day. What are you doing? If you're working on draft day, pretend to work. Watch A to Z Sports. That's what I personally will tell you. Is you got to be with us all day and get ready to go. So leave a like, share the show. You can repost us on Twitter X as well to support us on your timeline before we kick it off on a Thursday draft day morning.
All right, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports here live on a Thursday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan, one of our Titans reporters for A2ZSports.com. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Also, give us a 5-star review on Google. That goes a long way for us. Got to thank our sponsors, because they make it happen for you and they help out us. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Bart Durham Injury Law, where a crash can change your life forever, but help is just a click away at bartondurham.com. And Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all your insurance needs at bartondrury.com. So, Sam, I fell asleep and then woke up. It was roughly 12:05 a.m., officially draft day, and I saw that I had several dozen text messages missed because since I fell asleep and woke up, I saw that the Titans signed wide receiver Tyler Lockett, and Tyler Lockett was the first one to break that news because he tweeted, "I'm excited to be a Tennessee Titan." Everybody's like, "Whoa, what? When?" Okay. I'm super thankful and grateful. Let's get it. God, you get all the glory for Tyler Lockett, who has spent 10 years of his NFL career in Seattle with the Seahawks, was then cut, and Adam Schefter updates some compensation. Tyler Lockett signing a 1-year, $4 million deal worth up to $6 million deal with the Tennessee Titans. Sam, what was your reaction when you saw the news late last night? Did you see it last night, or did you see it this morning?
I actually was similar to you. I was in bed when this news broke and had my phone put away. I had gotten up in the middle of the night at one point to, and I took out my phone when I got up, and boom, Tyler Lockett, Tennessee Titans. So, yeah, I found out last night, but not exactly when everybody else found out. My reaction was, duh, if that makes sense. I don't know. We'll talk about this a little bit later when we get to our question on this topic, Austin. But I called the signing on Tuesday night when I was doing A to Z Sports Primetime, and I talked about, the wide receiver need for the Titans, and I predicted that they would go out and sign Tyler Lockett as another guy that they can add to this room. I think, as Daniel says, it just made a lot of sense for them. Barren wide receiver room. They needed to make another addition. We knew that. Brian Callahan had kind of expressed to me at the NFL Combine that they were just looking for more receivers, but really just like competent NFL veterans that can go and get the job done. And Tyler Lockett is not the same guy that he was 3-4 years ago, but he also hasn't fallen off a cliff like Tyler Boyd had when he signed with the Titans. So I think the Titans are getting a very competent, solid wide receiver to add to this room. For Lockett, it's an opportunity to go somewhere and be a primary target, a primary weapon again, extend his career, get an extra $4 to $6 million. It makes all the sense in the world. So sort of a no-brainer. And out of the guys that were left, right, out of the remaining wide receiver free agents that were still on the board, Lockett is really the one guy that I think had the fewest red flags. Like there were some
Amari
guys
Cooper,
like Keenan Allen, right? Keenan Allen is a solid player and, could still have a lot of juice left in the tank. But Amari Cooper was not very good last year. Even with the Buffalo Bills, he wasn't really all that productive. You've got, guys that Deontay Johnson, sort of like locker room issue, Elijah Moore, who like we can never figure out if Elijah Moore has any talent or not. There's just like a lot of guys that kind of make you like curl up your nose a little bit and go, no thanks. Tyler Lockett's not one of those guys. It's just I'll take that for sure. Sounds good.
Yeah, hashtag QJ says, and this is just a funny comment. Fun fact, Tyler Lockett has only been tackled 2 times his whole career. Well, at least it seems like that. And Tyler Lockett is somebody who
famous for diving on the ground.
But 32 years old, but also insanely durable. Durable. 17 games last year, 17 games the year before. Only missed 1 game in the 2 seasons before that, where that they extended this to 17 games. And then 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 15, 16. It's like he's missed, I think he's missed 3 games his entire career. 10 years.
I would not be surprised at all if Lockett had similar production to what he had for the Seahawks last year. And he's a guy who came in and caught 50-something passes for 600-something yards and, scored 4 or 5 touchdowns and just like had a really solid year. I don't have any real question marks or doubts about what you're getting. And I think the Titans feel the same way, which is why the signing made a lot of sense for a team that currently doesn't really know what they have at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, and I can't remember what show it was. I can't remember if I was talking with you, with Easton, or with Zach, but at some point over the last calendar week, I said that, they're going to sign this year version of Tyler Boyd, which I think could have been Tyler Lockett. And then they did it before the draft, which did catch me off guard. And I don't know how do you feel, Sam? Because you were not a believer in Tyler Boyd based on what you had learned at the Combine from some people in Cincinnati. But how do you feel about Lockett compared to how you felt about Boyd this time a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, that you are right about that. I was anti Tyler Boyd when they signed him. I like Tyler Lockett a good deal more. I think he's significantly more productive. I think his numbers in general haven't really dropped off, right? Like you can look at his yards and catches and look at Tyler Lockett as a guy who's dropped off in numbers that way. But really it was the targets because of the emergence of Jackson Smith and Jigba in Seattle. Like Lockett had been that number 2 alongside Metcalf. And back in 2022, when he got 117 targets, he caught 84 passes for over 1,000 yards. When he got 107 targets the year before that, it was 73 for 1,100. Even in 2023, when he got 122 targets, it was about 80 catches and about 900 yards receiving. Last year, only 74 targets. So the amount of times that the Seahawks targeted him and used him dropped down a significant bit, but I still think he can separate. He's flexible and versatile with where he can line up. And that's something Tyler Boyd didn't bring to the table. Boyd was just a slot guy that wasn't going to separate and was going to sit there and try to catch 7-yard passes in zone coverage and, that's all he was really good for. I think Lockett is certainly capable of a more dynamic route tree and being more of an impactful playmaker, even if he is, up there in age. So I think the Titans are getting, this is a solid wide receiver 2 to me. And this is what they needed. Another NFL body who can come on in there. And the example that I used on Primetime was that if you were to draft a wide receiver now, your wide receiver core doesn't look too bad for Cam Ward. You start looking at Van Jefferson as your wide receiver 4 or 5, Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley and a rookie in there, and maybe Bryce Oliver or Treylon Burks or whoever. Yeah. But that's an actual NFL room. It's not a great one, but it's a room.
Yeah, and I count this as a wide receiver splash signing because it was the eve before the draft when nobody was expecting it to happen. Normally these things don't happen until after the draft. And I think Tyler Lockett, you can look at his stats, and he's been very productive, as Sam just went through in Seattle up until last season when things adjusted a little bit. Yeah, we do need to have the 16 conversation. We'll get to that in a second.
We're having the 1 conversation. Now we're having the 16 conversation.
Hey, why not? Why not have all the jersey number conversations when we can? But I think this is a big deal for Cam Ward because Tyler Lockett is quarterback best friend. That is exactly what this type of guy is. Tyler Lockett could be what Xavier Restrepo was for Cam Ward last season. Neither guy is going to blow you off the page when it comes to your testing numbers or your speed or quickness or agility metrics, but the guy knows how to get open. He knows how to catch the football, and he's productive, and he's trustworthy, and he's going to be able to help Cam Ward in his adjustment to the NFL. And he's 32 years old, but 32 years old comes with a lot of savviness. So he can get he can get open, catch the ball, be reliable, and be an asset for Cam Ward, which I think is very important. Just like Tyler Boyd was very important last year, but I agree with you. I think Tyler Lockett's a better player at this time than Boyd was a year ago. So let's ask this question, because now that Tyler Lockett has entered the fold, how does this addition of Lockett change the Titans' wide receiver draft needs? There's 3 options I have it. Increase the draft needs? Are they the same, which is still very high? Or does it decrease the Titans' draft needs for the wide receiver position? Increase, decrease, or stay the same, which is very high. So what do you think the Titans' draft needs are at wide receiver with the addition of Tyler Lockett? We'll get to all of your thoughts here in a second, but I want to tell you about our new partners. That is the Barton Drury Insurance Group. They have been partners with A to Z Sports since the beginning of this year, because Zach and I, last year, we were saying it is time. We have to go get health coverage and benefits for our employees. We had grown enough to the spot that we needed somebody to provide that for our employees. And we found Barton Drury Insurance Group to be the best fit for what we needed as a growing young company. And we did that. We started that coverage at the first of the year. And now all of a sudden we get to add on to that partnership as they are growing across the Tennessee area with all they can do. They're customized solutions for all your insurance needs. And they're not joking when they say all of your insurance needs. Truly a one-stop shop for both personal and business insurance. They have employee benefits, 401k planning, life insurance, workers' comp, liability, auto, property, and umbrella. They're local and strive to provide excellent service, but also want to take the time to make sure that someone understands their insurance policies, because it is complicated. Insurance is overwhelming. But with what Barton Drury's team has done for us, they can do for you across the board, whatever you need, right there online at bartondrury.com.
All right, go ahead. Do us a favor this morning on a draft day morning. Leave a like on the show. What's not to like? It's draft day. The Titans have the number 1 overall pick. There's a lot to like. So hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Let's see those like numbers grow here on a draft day Thursday morning.
All right, so I'm about to put up a YouTube poll. How does the addition of Tyler Lockett change the Titans wide receiver draft needs? Does it increase it? Does it stay the same, which is high? Or does it decrease the draft needs? Sam, I'll send you to the chat. What are you seeing on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch?
It's pretty overwhelming. Pretty overwhelming. How does the addition of Tyler Lockett change the Titans wide receiver draft needs? We see better not change it at all. The same. No change. The same. Steven says it increases the draft needs. Same from Daniel, Joey, NJ Titans, Jacques, Joshua, Big G, Alton, Danny, Alton again, Justin, Ethan, Darius, Michael Kennedy says it's an increase. Larry says it's a decrease. Same from Colin, same from Paul, same from Don and Jonathan and Guy. It is a runaway blowout here in the chat. It's the same need because he's 32. That's what everybody's thinking here, Austin.
So same is what you're seeing is the most popular answer.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 2 or 3 people have said decrease. 1 or 2 people have said increase. But yeah, everybody's saying it's the exact same level of need.
Okay, because I've seen, Big Ten Jeff, who is a Colts fan who watches our show for whatever his reason is, and I've seen other people joke, oh, this means the Titans are just going to not wait until the 4th round to draft a receiver again, which might happen. I see Andre comes in with a super chat. Does Lockett make it 6 years of not drafting a wide receiver before the 4th round outside of AJ and Burks? 4th through 7th round bums are why the Titans are in a wide receiver desert. Props on using the correct desert, not dessert. So I think, Sam, this increases the need to draft a wide receiver. I'm not saying the same because now I think there's extra benefit to drafting a young wide receiver prospect while you have Tyler Lockett for 1 year. I like the idea of Tyler Lockett in the room being an extra coach in that room to help with all the nuances, the different skill sets that have to be developed of playing wide receiver in the NFL. And a guy who has been able to do that for a decade is such a great value that why would you wait to draft? Like, so if you have a guy, if you get like Buka, Kyle Williams, Jalen Noel, whatever, I want Jalen Noel to have
very different types of players.
But still, I'm just throwing Jaden Higgins. You can throw in all.
Jalen Noel is the guy. Jalen Noel specifically of that group would be a fantastic guy to learn from Tyler Lockett.
But I want Jalen Noel. I want anybody. I don't care what position, body type, skill. Like you're going to learn something from Tyler Lockett because the guy's been good. He's not like he's never been the most athletic dude in the receiving room. He's never been that. He's always gotten by and succeeded because of how talented and skilled and smart he is at the position. And so I want a 2nd round pick or a day 2 wide receiver pick to have 1 year working with Tyler Lockett, not just to say, okay, we'll just wait till 103, wait to the 4th round to draft receiver because Tyler Lockett helps Cam Ward. No, I want Tyler Lockett to help a day 2 wide receiver pick. So I say Tyler Lockett increases the Titans draft need at wide receiver.
I'm going to go with the obvious answer, which I'm surprised more people didn't say, which is I think this decreases the need for a wide receiver in the draft. Simply numbers wise, you're right. The Titans told us what was coming. They warned us about this earlier this week, and apparently we're still not wanting to listen. They told us they were not going to be able to address all of their roster needs in the draft. They talked about not wanting to be dictated by need in the draft. They want to go and get to the draft and take the best player available no matter what. They want to sit there at 35 and have the freedom to pull the trigger on an interior offensive lineman or a cornerback or a defensive tackle if they think that guy is the best player, because they're all about bringing in talent and not about freaking out about what positions they have. When asked about getting Cam Ward, the pieces that he needs to succeed, because that is a logical follow-up question. Well, you don't want to be dictated by need, but you're just not going to give Cam Ward wide receivers. Here's Mike Borgonzi. Yeah, like I said, you want to surround the young quarterback with as much talent and have the environment for him to succeed. But at the same time, we're building a team here too as well. So we have to do what's best for the team at that point. Of course, we'd like to go out and give that player everything he needs, but our thinking is right now, there's a lot of holes in this roster, and we have to make the best decision in terms of value of that player. The Titans are preparing to not take a wide receiver early, but it would leave sort of a bad taste in your mouth if you got through the first 2 days of the NFL draft, you didn't draft a wide receiver, and you're looking at the Titans wide receiving core with Cam Ward as the quarterback, and it's Calvin Ridley and a bunch of bums. So what does this do? It eases some of that pain. It makes you feel like, all right, you don't absolutely need a wide receiver to have a functional NFL receiving core. You could still sign yet another veteran. You could draft a wide receiver in the 4th round. And if you go Ridley and Lockett and wide receiver that's drafted in the 4th round, and you sign another veteran during training camp, is it a good receiver room? No. But does it give Cam Ward enough capable NFL bodies to potentially succeed and let his talent do the rest? Yeah, if you believe in Cam Ward's talent. So I think this decreases the need because, and this is where I was getting at earlier, Austin, when I predicted the Tyler Lockett signing, I had asked a question to the chat on Tuesday night. If you had to, the Titans are telling us they're not going to fill all their needs. Right. If you had to either leave edge rusher unaddressed or wide receiver unaddressed in the draft, which one would you rather leave unaddressed? I would rather leave receiver unaddressed and sign an edge rusher and draft an edge rusher that's an impactful edge rusher and sign a veteran wide receiver like Tyler Lockett who can come in and have an immediate impact. But the Titans need to start drafting defense. They need to start getting young, controllable defensive players. They put so much effort into the offense, money, draft picks, etc. It's time to start grabbing some defensive bodies. And I think this allows them to do that without having it weigh on their conscience that they're not doing enough to support their quarterback.
I think they were going to have to sign the Tyler Lockett wide receiver regardless of what they did in the draft at receiver, I think. But I think you have to invest in receiver more in the draft than edge. Now, I understand the 35th overall,
sorry,
having the 3rd round.
MB says, how about leave none unaddressed? They're telling you, this is why I wrote the article and I did the show. MB, they're telling you now they're going to leave some stuff unaddressed.
Yeah, but here's what I think they're going to leave unaddressed. Inside linebacker. That's what they're not going to, I think they're more likely to leave inside linebacker or safety.
They got 1 pick in the top 100 that's not Cam Ward right now. Yeah,
no, I know.
So how are you going to get an edge rusher and a wide receiver?
No, they have to get creative. They have assets. We've talked about how they can
creative though. This is what I'm talking about.
No, for sure. But I when they say we're not going to be able to fill every need, that's responding to Rand Carthon said, I checked every box last year.
Right.
They didn't. But also it's saying they're not going to invest. They have inside linebackers in need. Who's starting? They got the Barton guy and one of the dudes they drafted last year who's super unproven. And safety. You have Xavier Woods, you've got Amani Hooker. That's kind of it. They need a safety, they need another corner.
I'm not saying they're not going to take a wide receiver at all in the draft. Jake Locker's Berta said the draft is 7 rounds, Sam. No, I'm saying a relevant guy, right? Yeah, they'll take a receiver in the 5th round. I don't care. That guy's not going to be good. He's not going to have an actual impact. Maybe if you hit lightning in a bottle and you find Puka Nacua, sure. But let's be honest here. I'm talking about guys that you're expecting to be starters for your team, high-level prospects.
Hey, look, it's hard because of what 35 represents, and that's going to be the big thing about this draft is there's no 3rd round pick. You have 35 overall. You've got 2 glaring needs, wide receiver, and you're drafting Cam Ward number 1, and edge rusher, which is a premium position that you absolutely need dire help with. 35 is a great spot to fill both, but you can't do both with 1 pick. You can't have there is no Travis Hunter of edge rusher and tight end. You don't have that. There's no combo there. So you've got to how do you find what you do at 35 based on the board? How do you trade back? Can you move up in the 3rd? All this stuff, right? So it is complicated, but I think wide receiver, if I were to leave one thing unresolved with a higher spot, I would try my best to get a wide receiver on Friday understanding that the edge might be the best spot at 35. It's complicated. I don't think there's a black and white scenario here. I do want to get to something because
I got a couple other comments to address.
Yeah, we have comments on comments. It's
I'm on a roll here.
People are fired up. This is great.
Justin says, so we're going to pick one again then next year. Maybe. Very real possibility of this. And this is what I was trying to say on Tuesday night and what I've been trying to say all offseason. All offseason, I've been saying this. We need to wrap our heads around the fact that the Titans are telling us this is a multi-year rebuild. The number one thing Mike Borgonzi said at his introductory press conference, temper expectations. They're telling you we're not doing the Rand Carthon thing, that we're going to try to address absolutely everything and get good players and pay money and use draft picks and go all in to give Cam Ward everything he needs to get us to the playoffs this year. They're fine with it being a multi-year rebuild. They understand it's a multi-year rebuild. They're okay with going 4-13 or 5-12 next year if it means Cam develops and they put the pieces in place to have a stepping stone year. I said on the show last week, I think their target year is 2027 to compete.
It is.
Yeah. I think this year is your, this is the start year. Next year's your building block year where you start to add some pieces and you start to let Cam shine. Maybe you flirt with the playoffs in 2026. Maybe you're in that conversation. And then once you have built this core through 2 or 3 off seasons, 2027 is the year that you go all in. New stadium, year 3 of Cam Ward. That is what makes sense. So we need to understand that this is a real possibility that they could pick one next year. And that might be a good thing if they do.
I mean, that Joe Burrow
and get another elite pick.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was better because they sucked his rookie year after he got hurt, and they got Jamar Chase, his college teammate, at 5 overall.
So Boss Man says this is why you don't draft a receiver in the 4th. I don't disagree with that. I'm not advocating for them drafting a receiver in the 4th, but I'm addressing the reality of the fact that you have one pick after Cam Ward in the top 100.
Yep.
Do I think there's a chance they trade down of that pick? Absolutely. But Easton and I did a show yesterday where we talked about a list of players that we think they would not pass up on and would not trade if they were there at 35. So I'll put my hand up right now. I hope Emeka Egbuka is there and that he ends up being a Tennessee Titan. I hope they get Luther Burden. I would love that. I think that's a really smart move. And that's not necessarily what I would do, but I think it is more likely that they're going to draft an edge at 35 that they like a lot, draft a defensive tackle or an offensive lineman or a player that they really like a lot at 35, and that they're more okay getting into the 4th or 5th round without adding a wide receiver now because they have Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, and so Tyler Lockett, when I said this and I talked about how I think Tyler Lockett's addition increases the need to go wide receiver in the draft heavy, and I think they should draft 2 receivers, before Lockett and after Lockett. And I think you should look at how Tyler Lockett can be an asset to those young wide receivers in the 1 year.
Why should they draft 2 receivers though? Let's talk about that.
Because
to me, that feels like you're forcing a position just to force a position.
Well,
the depth of this class is not at wide receiver. The depth of this class is at running back. It's at edge rusher. It's at
there's scenarios that I think if they can't get a wide receiver at 35 or on day 2, then they should draft 2 on day 3.
Why? Why burn 2 day 3 picks on wide receivers just to say you have wide receivers?
Because I want to have as much growth opportunity and weapons for Cam Ward to grow with as I possibly can.
But it's a day.
I'm not going to draft I'm not going to draft a Dez Fitzpatrick just because I need to check a box. I'm not trying to box myself into a bad spot. I think 2 wide receivers would be in their
how frequently is a day 3 wide receiver actually an impactful offensive player? Very rarely. How frequently is a day 3 linebacker, edge rusher, defensive lineman a productive player either in your defensive rotation or on special teams or in some capacity there?
Sure.
A lot more frequently. So I think
it all depends on 35. 35 is where the draft for the Titans goes a lot of different directions there. But I did see this comment after I went on my rant on what I thought about Lockett. Daniel Burden could use a mentor like Lockett. Brian says, I don't get paid to mentor. Hashtag QJ. So you're saying he'd be good for Burden. Luther Burden loading. So there's a lot of people that immediately jump to, Luther Burden has personality situation issues with being, does he love ball? Is he a good enough practice player? Does he approach the game off the field well enough to take it 35?
Yeah.
Well, Tyler Lockett could help ease some of those transition pains over, just like they had Keandre Coburn last year, who was big bro for Tavondre Sweat at Texas, and Jeffrey Simmons. They had that stability around Tavondre Sweat to make sure he was set up to succeed. I think, look, I don't know what they think about Burden. I don't think they're going to go sign Tyler Lockett to a 4-year deal to draft Luther Burden, but it does make that, to me, more of a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm in on Burden. I had him on my list yesterday when Easton and I broke down that list. Easton did not have him on the list. To me, he's on the list of players that if he's there at 35, I would, and I think the Titans would draft him. Braden Mitchell-Wall says, depth is not at wide receiver, like I said, so you take one at 35. And I think that, there's an argument there for sure. My issue with this is the drop-off is so steep and very sudden in this class. Like you go, Travis Hunter will count him, Tet McMillan, Matthew Golden, Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden, 5. And after those 5 are gone, is there a guy that's there that's worth taking at 35? Probably not. Maybe Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel. But I would not be pumped if they took Ilika Umanor at 35. I think that's not a good pick. Jaden Higgins, I like, not at 35. Jalen Royals, I like, not at 35. So I think
Noel's probably the next guy for the Titans.
Yeah, I mean that's the issue with this though, is that there's a pretty sharp drop from the Burden Egbukas that might hang on to the next guy who you would go. I don't like Trey Harris enough to take him at 35. Me personally, Dante Thornton is going to go in the 6th round, Cole. So that at 35 would be one of the worst picks ever. So
let's look. I've got some more comments about this.
Kyle Williams, to me, Kyle Williams at 35 is too early. Always has been.
Well, I'm going to read something from Daniel Jeremiah of NFL.com, as well as get to some more of these comments, because a lot of people are talking about this. I think we should I'll tell you more about what we're going to do tonight. And I think we should put this Luther Burden, Tyler Lockett conversation and ask that to Easton tonight during our live stream to see what he thinks about that, because he is more out on Burden. You are in on Burden. I am the porridge is just right on Burden between you guys.
He's not out on Burden.
He's out on Burden as the Titans taking Burden at 35. He said that
he wants them to. He just doesn't think they will.
Correct. So that's why I'm going to say he's out on him, just to kind of fit that bucket. All right. So we'll get to more of those here in a second. But first, the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn. Any injuries that happen in life, that's where you should go to. The Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin, Tennessee, right off of I-65 and Highway 96. They've got all the resources, the doctors, the support staff, the rehab facilities right there for you to get back off that injury and into life feeling good like you should be, just like I've been doing the last couple of years with a couple of injuries I've had, nagging things that have happened that have been slowing down my life a little bit. Get off that sideline, get it taken care of. Don't let that thing linger and make your life harder for no reason. Book an appointment online, boneandjointtn.org.
All right, it's time. Do us a favor. Go and hit that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube right now, what are you doing if you're not hitting that subscribe button? We are going... Obviously, we're live right now, but we're going to be live later tonight. You got to be subscribed so that once we're going live for the draft. We're going live Friday. We're going to have videos all throughout the weekend recapping the Titans draft situation and giving you everything that you need. So it is a really exciting, electric time to be an NFL fan, especially when you have the first overall pick. You don't want to miss a video. So subscribe to the YouTube. It's a great time to do it. Draft season. Hit subscribe.
Yep, the draft reaction is going to be crazy big for us, and excited about that. So Sam mentioned we're going to be live tonight, right at 7 Central. The draft goes live. Our research department has put together that Cam Ward is 80% likely to be announced as the Titans' #1 overall pick at 7:19 p.m. Central Time.
Our research department, meaning your Twitter search.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Yeah, you are the research department.
At times, I can be. Yeah, so 7:19 p.m. Central Time is when the pick will be announced. That's my prediction based on the data. But we will be live right there at 7 o'clock. So
right
make
at
sure,
7. And I'm
right at 7.
gonna be seated, plopped right back there in my living room, draft on the TV, ready to ride.
There you go. All right. So Daniel Jeremiah tweeted this. I guess this was this morning. Yes. He said, this draft is all about fit. That's what every team keeps telling me. Rankings on these players are all over the map. Teams don't seem concerned. They like their pods of players and don't really care if there's perception of a reach. And so I thought of that tweet that I saw this morning before the show when you were talking about the wide receivers after Abuka Burden, right? It's Jalen Noel. I think the Titans really, really like Jalen Noel. I think he could be a 35th overall pick, and they wouldn't bat an eye if that was the situation.
Yeah, I think that they would, they could, right? Like the real question with any of these guys at 35 to me is going to be, sorry, burping this morning. Got a little hiccups, got a situation going on. I don't know.
I can help you.
Scary. My heart skipped a beat. Everything went wrong right there. The question for me, Austin, is going to be, what is the comfort level with trading down and still trying to get your guy, right? Because like Nando points out, I've kind of linked this situation to Tavondre Sweat last year.
Yeah.
The Titans last year, the same as they had this year, had a 68 pick gap between their second and third draft choice. They were sitting there in this spot where everybody thought, hey, maybe they should trade down. Maybe they should try to add an additional pick. And Rand Carthon stuck at, what was it, 38 overall, 39 overall, something like that, where Sweat went. 41, I don't know. 38, yeah. And he pulled the trigger on Tavondre Sweat. And a lot of people went, Tavondre Sweat at 38? I had him at a 4th round grade because of the off the field stuff. And I was hooting and hollering. I loved it. Sweat was my guy. I loved that pick. But Rand Carthon said in his press conference after the draft pick, like, I had offers to trade down, and my thought was that if I traded down, Tavondre wouldn't still be on the board, and he was our guy. And after I made the pick, I got a call from a couple different GMs that said, damn, you got our guy. We were going to take him 3 picks after you. So he got confirmation that if he would have traded down, his guy wouldn't have been there. And so I've kind of said, and I think you've backed me up on this, I almost expect the Titans at 35 to make a pick that people are going to be like, who? He's number 65 on the consensus big board. He's not, but the draft is about fit. And if there's a guy that the Titans love, if there's a guy that they've really started to get into, whether it's Jalen Noel or whoever it might be at a different position, if there's a guy that they like and he's there and they're worried he won't be there 8 picks later when they trade down, I don't think they're worried about it. I think they're going to stick and they're going to pick the guy that they like. So this draft, the way that this draft is sort of set up with very few 1st round grades, and then the way that people are sort of phrasing it is like anywhere between picks like 20 to 60, it's a cluster. It's a cluster of guys that are like starters, and where you have them varies. Like people have Luther Burden as their 48th best available player. Other people have him as number 17. And like that sort of variation exists with a lot of dudes. So I think you're going to see teams make some like head scratching picks. It's going to be difficult to mock. I think we'll see even at the end of the 1st round, there's going to be some picks that are a little bit out there, but teams are going for fit. And yeah,
I'm with you. Let's get some super chats before we switch gears to our my epiphany that I had and the Cam Ward conversation about jersey number. TLG says Lockett is old as hell and slow. I'd be more excited if he was joining the coaching staff. That's just funny. Mike Vrabel's burner has a super chat here. I think they plan on switching to a 4-man front, so I don't be surprised if they pass on edge and pick up a D tackle or an off-ball linebacker instead. I don't think they're going to switch to a 4-man front.
They kind of already use a 4-man front, though. Like
but like their body types for their edge rushers aren't changing from what they have been last year, right?
No, not particularly. I mean, Maybe, because Draymond Jones, I would say, is a very different player and body type from Harold. So if you're subbing him in for Harold right now, like that's a big change. But four-man front was what they used most of last season. Like they had two defensive interior guys on the field at all times with a pair of edge rushers.
Yeah, but
Sweat and Simmons out there together, ideally. And then you rotate in that third or fourth guy, whether you rotate in Sebastian Joseph Day or Keandre Coburn or whoever it is to keep guys fresh. And then you have two edges. So right now it'll be Jones and maybe Key. They're probably looking for another edge that they can add to that equation. But
I mean, it all depends on how you look at it. Like it's so fluid. Like what the type of front that you have in the NFL is so fluid. It could be a 2-man front. It could be a 3. It could be a 4. It could be a 5. Depending on,
I wouldn't be surprised if they pass on edge and pick up a defensive tackle. Again, they've showed us their hand with this. Like it would just like, that's what I want everybody to be prepared for.
I think we still have the graphic, right? All the 30 visits from the D tackles that are ranked high.
And like they talked about these during their press conference on Tuesday, and they were like, oh, well, there were just guys that we thought we needed to get a little bit more information on, right? You're not looking into these guys and needing more information on them if you're not interested in the position, if you're not looking at adding somebody at the position. Whether that means Jeff is out or in, I don't know, but I think they could add a defensive tackle and keep Jeff, and that's a real possibility too. They just, like, let's not ignore the things that they're showing us and telling us. They're showing us
spending money on.
Like, how many edge rushers did they meet with in their top 30s?
Oh, I don't know.
Not many.
But again,
I can't think of really any off the top of my head.
But from what I remember, Easton was talking about this, is like they feel fairly comfortable with the edge. Like totally. They didn't want to bring in Emeka Egbuka for a 30 visit because they don't need to. They don't need to waste that spot.
Yeah, no, totally fair. But like, and that's not saying that they're not interested in edge rushers, but they're clearly have an interest in defensive tackles. So if they're telling us now through their visits, we are interested in defensive tackles, if they take one instead of an edge rusher, when they've also said we're taking the best player available, we can't pretend to be surprised.
Yeah, fair.
And it's like, all right, so maybe ignore the things that come out of their mouth, but we can't ignore their actions.
It costs the team money to bring in somebody for a 30 visit. They have to fly the player in.
Don't bring a guy in for a 30 visit if you're not interested in selecting him, point blank.
Yes. If you don't have at least some type of interest in the player to learn more about the player, and what you might cross the player off your board after the 30 visit, but you needed the 30 visit to know the answer to your questions. Totally. So, all right, one more super chat, and then we'll get to our Cam Ward topic for the morning. Devin, Titans saying they're drafting BPA means nothing. Best player available. They're going to address the most glaring needs early. 2 picks after Ward will be DN and wide receiver.
Disagree. Hard disagree. Maybe, but like,
it doesn't have to be. Like, they're not tied to that. It could be that. It could be wide receiver, DN, or edge in, their second, third pick.
Ideally for them, there's a guy who they have high on their board that's also at a position of need, like edge or wide receiver, and they go, thumbs up, we're picking him. Great. But they're not going to just draft an edge or a wide receiver because they need an edge or a wide receiver. They're like, Easton tweeted earlier, like, that there's the guy who most feels like a Titan and he can't really explain why is Quincy Riley, the corner out of Louisville. I totally agree that, like, I could just see that happening. I said on Primetime again that, like, don't be surprised if 35 is on the clock and they just take a corner or they take a safety, and people are going to be like, whoa, what? Why are you doing that?
We want Xavier Watts, don't we?
At 35, maybe. I don't
we
know.
we just want it for the Xavier Woods, Xavier Watts.
Oh yeah, X squared would be the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
We need that.
But like, I had Nick Emenwari on my list of guys. I think if he's there at 35, the Titans don't pass on him. I think he's such a good fit for Denard Wilson's defense. They'll pull the trigger on him and take him. Maybe there's a corner in there that they like so much that they're just going to take a defensive back, and you might freak out. I think
the and you guys can read this at A2ZSports.com. Sam and Easton collabed for an article based on their conversation. There are 8 players on your combined lists of will not pass up if on the board at 35.
And we don't agree on all of them.
Yeah. But the likeliness of 2 of those players being on the board is reasonable.
It's possible. So, right? I mean, we're getting a little optimistic with it. Some of these guys have like first round grades that like
sure.
You're saying if he falls out of the first, they're not going to pass on him. What
happens if the safety and Ibuka are right there at 35? You're taking Ibuka.
Yeah, I agree.
It's whenever you have the tiebreaker.
I think if all the guys on that list are gone and Gray Zabel is sitting there at 35, you're taking an interior offensive lineman, and people are going to throw their hands up in the air and wonder why you didn't take Jalen Knoll or take like an edge rusher. And the answer is Gray Zabel, we think, is a blue chipper. Like he was number 15 on our board. And I think we need to be prepared for that.
Taking a North Dakota State offensive lineman.
Yeah, right.
When is that going to go?
Zabel is a guy who like has played 4 out of 5 offensive line positions, and the one that he hasn't played is the one he might project best to play in the NFL, which is center. You have a center coming off injury in Lloyd Cushenberry. You've got Kevin Zeitler on a 1-year contract, right? Mike Borgonzi also said, again, pay attention, read between the lines on some of the things they say. He said, our process is all about projecting where these guys will be in year 2 and year 3. That's all the Kansas City Chiefs have ever done. It's how they've stayed on top for the last 6-7 years is they draft a guy who they bring in, who doesn't even play the first year, who has a limited role as first year. And in year 2, year 3, as the roster turns over, they develop into starters and great players that you bring in. And then they end up being very good picks. I think it's totally possible the Titans could take Gray Zabel at 35. He's not a day 1 starter because you've got some experience up there, but he can sub in anywhere on the offensive line if you need him to in a pinch. And so he's sort of your Daniel Brunskill type of guy who can just pop in anywhere. Mm-hmm. And then next year you have a ready-made starter at right guard when Zeitler's contract is up. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense for them. And so like, that I don't know. That's why I'm in on the best player available thing. I'm just saying, be ready.
And now we have a lot of time. We've got tonight. We've got tonight's live show. We've got tomorrow morning's show. That's going to be Sam, Eason, and me, all 3 of us reacting tomorrow morning. And then we've got our second round show Friday night before 35 overall comes
again. All right, I'm sorry. I promise I'll let you get to the Cam Ward discussion. Okay. But I had this conversation on Tuesday night too, because Big Ten Jeff said this similar thing. The Chiefs are already good, so they can do that. They don't need to plug holes like the Titans. It is the opposite.
Yeah.
When you are a bad team in the NFL, you do not get good by plugging holes. You get good by building a foundation of talent. You plug holes when you're ready to go. When the Titans are looking, they do 2025, they do 2026, and then 2027, they're like, let's go to the playoffs.
No, I'll give you a real life example. 2018 draft.
Yeah.
The Titans were at 25, moved up to 22, drafted Rashaan Evans. Why? Because inside linebacker was the only open starting job on offense or defense.
When the Detroit Lions built their core and then they were getting ready to go, they can draft Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round because they needed another running back and an inside backer, and they had the foundation laid with the offensive line and the quarterback, and all this stuff was already there. When you're ready, when you are ready to go, you can plug holes. What the Chiefs have done so well is plug holes through things like free agency and use the draft often to like replace positions like the defensive line and offensive line where they always have somebody ready and waiting, and they hit on their late round picks. That's what they've done well. But the Titans right now are getting no closer to a Super Bowl being like, we need a wide receiver this year. And you know why? Because look at the Titans roster right now and the contracts. After this year, you have 2 edge rushers who are going to be gone. You have a right guard who's going to be gone. 2 safeties who are going to be gone. An inside linebacker who's going to be gone. Like the wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, is going to be gone. The guys that you have, Van Jefferson, going to be gone. You might have them for this year. They're going to be gone next year. And you can't just keep trying to plug holes and hope that it works. You have to build foundation.
Yep.
So that is where I'm starting.
Devin says Rashawn Evans, what a great pick. That was the point. They reached on it. And because they could, and that's what they needed.
But it helped them in 2019. It helped them in the immediate future. It was a bad long-term pick.
Right. All right. Let's get to this, because the last few years I've had draft dreams, and a couple times they come true. I didn't have a draft dream. I had like a daydream. It was like a light bulb. It was an epiphany that went off in my head yesterday. I was sitting right here when you guys were doing the show. I was just, something clicked. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And here's what we're going to get with it, because this came out yesterday. Warren Moon may let Cam Ward wear his retired number 1 if drafted by the Titans. News alert. He's going to be drafted by the Titans.
Paul Kaharski had this article yesterday saying that Moon said he would consider it if Ward wanted to wear number 1.
So we don't know if Ward wants to wear number 1. We don't know if the Titans are open
we've gotten mixed messages on that front, because Ward was on his Fortnite stream.
Yep.
And he had said, he kind of teased, he was like, I like the look of that number. I like the look of that number. And it was Titans jersey number 1, which obviously everybody was thinking, hey, that's retired, buddy. He was also interviewed on TikTok by like a random TikToker where he said, my goal is to wear number 1 in the NFL, but we'll see where I get drafted. If I go to a team that doesn't have it available, I'll just change it. So he has shown a willingness to change it, but he has also shown a desire to wear it.
But we don't know if he is going to, with the Titans, ask for number 1. We hear from Paul Kaharski that Warren Moon is thinking about it, of opening it up. But we also, the next thing is we don't know is, are the Titans going to open it up if Warren Moon is good with it? So here's this next question. Should the Titans let Cam Ward wear number 1 if Warren Moon gives his blessing? Should the Titans let Cam Ward wear number 1 if Warren Moon gives his blessing? We'll get to your answers here in a second, and then my epiphany that I had yesterday about this. But the Bart Durham Injury Law is the place you should go if you are in need of help. A crash can change your life forever, and Bart Durham Injury Law is right there for you to help you out, just like they have been doing for Nashvillians and for Tennesseans for now 50 plus years, when Bart Durham opened the doors to business back in 1975. And unfortunately, Bart's passing a year ago. His son, Blair Durham, who's been a part of the show for a long time, now running the show. Blair's a great Nashvillian, does a lot of things in the community. Rally on the Runway was a couple weeks ago for childhood cancer battle, and Bart Durham Injury Law is a great presenting sponsor and proud sponsor of that as well. BartDurham.com is the website. You deserve to be paid for what you go through, including those big truck wrecks or any car accident right there. Online at Bart Durham Injury Law.
Oh man, we're gonna have to go for like an hour and 20 minutes today, Austin, because I'm looking at the chat. By the way, leave a 5-star Google review. Got to let you guys know to do that. I'm giggling over here looking at the chat because, wow, well, this is perfect. What a conversation. I'm going straight to the chat. Look at this chat right now.
Okay.
Yes from Rashid. Kendall says no. Sure, why not? Yes, yes, yes. No, it's retired. Absolutely. Yes. F no. Absolutely not. No. Number 11 is open. Why wouldn't they? Only if. 100% yes. Hell no. No. Nope. Absolutely not. Sure, who cares? Yeah, let him wear it. He's the number 1 pick. No. Nope. Yes. Sure. Yes. No. No. Yes. Yes. Yes, if given the blessing. Yeah, let the young man shine. Yes, sure, why not? Absolutely not. Ink, but no, set a precedence. No, like, we could not be more people being like, why wouldn't they? Absolutely not. Why the heck would they do that? Like, I'm excited for the conversation because I know which direction it's going for you and I.
Yes.
I called you yesterday and we had a baby conversation. King VZ, let's go, baby. Lock in. Let's like the show. Let's have the conversation. Austin.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay.
Because I've heard your argument. You have not heard mine.
All right.
Because you wrote the article yesterday and I helped you with a headline that I disagree with, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. Cam Ward should not wear number 1 at all. No, the Titans should not allow it. Warren Moon shouldn't allow it. But even if he does, Cam Ward should turn it down. He shouldn't want it. The Titans shouldn't let it happen. I have so many reasons for this. Number 1, we talk about Warren Moon's blessing. Let's just get one thing clear. Warren Moon is not going out of his way to be like, by the way, if Cam wants my number, he's got it, y'all. If he wants it, I support that. Like Warren Moon, I would imagine Paul Kaharski reached out to him and asked him, if this was brought to you, would you consider it? What's he going to say? Absolutely not. That kid can screw off. That's my number, buddy. It's like, if you're pressed about it, Warren Moon, good guy, great guy, might say the right thing and do the right thing and be like, sure, why not? Numbers are retired for a reason. Teams retire numbers as an honor to a player. It is bestowed from a team to a player because you are iconic. You are a legend. And for many teams, numbers are synonymous with a player. How would Titans fans feel if somebody was running around in number 22 jerseys right now? Not very good, because number 22, they haven't given it to anybody because they're going to retire it for Derek, and Derek is 22 in Nashville forever. Warren Moon is arguably the greatest player in the history of this franchise. Like, there has been nobody with as seriously, like, I mean, positional value, arguably the greatest player. What? What are you saying? I hate that you're making a face right now. Number 1 is Warren Moon's number. It always will be in Titans Oilers history, especially now that they're wearing number 1, or especially now that they're wearing Oilers uniforms. It is synonymous with him. That's what Titans fans think of, and it should not be able to be worn by another player. One, for the precedent that then sets, that like, oh, if you just retiring numbers doesn't matter if you really want it. Number 2, there's no good that can come from it. If Cam Ward wears number 1 and he's awesome and he's great and he's a star, well, now number 1 to Titans fans is Cam Ward. It's Cam Ward's number. It will forever be Cam Ward's number. And Warren Moon is kind of forgotten in that way. Like he's not at the purpose of retiring the number in general is defeated. And if he sucks, that number is tainted. Think about how much you would shrivel up and curl into a ball if the Titans traded Will Levis tomorrow, whatever, and Cam Ward was like, I'm going to wear 8. You'd be like, ooh. Yeah,
you need gap. Yeah.
You'd be like, ooh, 8. Think about if Cam Ward, one of the numbers available was 17. First guy I'm thinking of is Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. And like, you remember the guy that you remember. And so,
but Sam, let me just say this. Because you make a good argument, and I get that. And I'm not going to disagree with anybody who feels the way Sam does. But Sam, I had an epiphany yesterday.
Oh, no. Oh gosh.
Cam Ward is going to wear number 1. I think it's happening. I think it is happening. Sam, March 27th, you were gone. Mm-hmm. You were like day 4 being married. You were off doing whatever you wanted to do. You were having a great time walking around Europe, Iceland, wherever the hell you were. We had an email. The Titans are putting the Oilers jerseys on the shelf. They're switching to the Titan blue. They're not wearing the Oilers jerseys. Yeah. Cam Ward is going to wear number 1. Warren Moon wore number 1 for the Oilers. For the Houston Oilers, not the Tennessee Oilers, the Houston Oilers. Gary Anderson in 2003 and 2004 wore number 1 and kicked in the playoffs for the Tennessee Titans with a single bar on his face mask and a single bar on his jersey. And they retired number 1 after that in 2006, I believe. And so they are retiring number 1 after it was worn. Like, Steve McNair's 9 and Eddie George's 27 were not worn for a decade from when those guys last wore it before they retired it. They shelved it. They didn't do that with 1. They retired 1 because they had to retire 1 to retire 9 and 27. Hold tight. They are going to open up number one. This is what's going to happen. Warren Moon's going to say, yes, I would be honored if Cam Ward wore my number one. He would give his blessing. Cam Ward's going to wear number one because they're not wearing the Oilers jerseys. There will not be the Oilers jerseys be worn for at least a couple years. So you're going to know whether Cam Ward's good or bad by that point. And if he's bad, then they're not going to wear the number one Oilers jerseys until he's gone. And then they can have it retired again. So they are going to give him the number one jersey. That was my epiphany. The light bulb went off. It's already happened because March 27th, Sam, is right around the same time that the Titans were locked in on Cam Ward, number one overall.
Listen. Number one, okay. So the whole deal with delaying the war, like the Moon retirement to 2006, whatever. This was an intentional thing by Amy Adams Strunk to sort of adopt Oilers history as Amy. Titans history. But this is what the organization
still running the Bud.
But this is what the organization has been leaning into. No, is like Oilers history is Titans history. You cannot have both things be true. You cannot give Cam Ward number one and just shelf the Oilers uniforms and then be like, oh, well, Moon is number one for the Oilers. Cam Ward's number one for the Titans. If you're going to look people in the eye and say Oilers history is also Tennessee Titans history, you're losing the argument to Houston at that point. You might as well give like all of these guys, Moon, Bethea, like Campbell, they've all been saying, I played as an Oiler. Yeah. I retired as a Titan, and I'm a Titan today, and I'm a Titan forever. That it is disgracing the fact that Oilers history is Titans history if you're just going to unretire a jersey. So now somebody, why doesn't Tony Pollard switch to 34? Rep Earl Campbell's number, baby. Why not? It's Oilers history. He wore it for the Oilers. That is the precedent that you're setting.
This is a quarterback saying that you're drafting number one overall, right?
Who cares?
I think this is I think it's going to happen. I think it's already been decided, Sam. And
like, how many times has a quarterback been drafted number one overall and not worked out, or been like the savior of the franchise that everybody's fired up about and then not worked out? Like, if you set this precedent, somebody should go wear 34. Somebody should go wear 63 for Mike Munchak. Somebody should wear 43 for Tim Norton.
Sam. Like, you know how big this is for this franchise. This franchise is building a new stadium next to the current stadium.
And he can create his own legacy and his own jersey number.
With what jersey number that's available? You did the list. There's a lot of
7.
7? No. 7's been worn by 4 sucky to average quarterbacks in the 25 years that this franchise has been playing football in Nashville. Billy Volek is the best quarterback that this franchise has had that has worn 7. Other than that, it's been awful.
You can pay, so then pay
Blaine Gabbert, Zach Mettenberger,
and get 11. Pay Van Jefferson, get 11.
Okay, AJ Brown. Like now that could be an option because you're trying to remove the PTSD from AJ Brown. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think it's pre-decided that they're going to give him one. Warren Moon is going to come out and say, "I give my blessing for this. I would be honored." Cam Ward's going to take it, and because you know why I saw this and why I thought about this. Because I saw a jersey swap of Cam Ward in an Oilers throwback 1, and my eye said Warren Moon before I even realized it was Cam Ward. But I've been looking at Cam Ward Titans jersey swaps for months wearing number 1, and that never crossed my mind. And that's where I thought about it. They shelved the Oilers throwbacks. They're going back to the light blue as the primary. They are going to give Cam Ward number 1 because this guy is trying to build this franchise out of the gutter into the new building with a new identity, and they're going to move forward with it. They've already decided this.
He is going to get number 1. You don't need a jersey number to do that.
It matters, man. It matters a lot. Jersey numbers matter, and especially with quarterbacks.
Like Jaron says, Sam doesn't get it. He's a Bears fan, man. If anybody here is fighting for Titans history, it's me. I just think it is such a brutal contradiction for the last 10 years to be sitting here selling the idea that Oilers history is also Titans history and then draw a line at I'm not saying that because we have a shiny new toy and you better so then what's the better scenario? Number 1 just becomes Cam Ward's number now and Warren Moon's forgotten?
No. Warren Moon's never forgotten.
What if Cam Ward sucks? Number 1.
Okay, then it goes back to being retired. Who cares? It's a one-time thing. It's fine.
And it's retired for Warren Moon, even though a guy who will give Titans fans PTSD for decades wore it and sucked in it.
I don't think anybody Warren Moon 1 will still be in the new stadium around that board right next to the other numbers that are retired, 9 and 27 and 63 and 34 and Buffet's number, right? All of them, they're going to be up there. It's not going to go away.
I think this is a big. It could happen. Right?
I think it's going to happen. It is going to happen. They have set this thing up. They set this thing up by shelving those jerseys a month before the draft, before the whole world was locked in on the Cam Ward's going to be a Titan number 1 easy. Like before we were locked in on
but like the Patriots don't go give Drake May 12.
Sam,
he's their savior.
What was the last year that Warren Moon played for the Oilers?
It doesn't matter how long ago it was.
Time matters, dude. Time matters.
Is he the greatest player in franchise history or not? Because he is.
I mean, he's definitely up there. Like he's a Hall of Famer. It's him, it's Bruce Matthews, it's Earl Campbell. Then you talk about Derrick Henry, Eddie George, Steve McNair.
You don't see New York Yankees players wearing Babe Ruth's number.
This ain't the Yankees, dude. This is the Tennessee Titans. They have to brand this quarterback well.
Brand him in 4. Brand him in 7.
4.
Brand him in a number that's not already the number of the greatest player in franchise history.
It's going to happen.
It might happen, but
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It might.
1 is different. It's going to happen. It's already been worn by a Titan, by a kicker.
I mean, that's before the numbers retired, though.
Yeah, I know. But they didn't give 9 or 27 out until it was like a gap of a decade.
What is the precedent that you then set, though? That retired numbers.
We've seen
retired numbers are only retired numbers unless we really like this player. And then the next time the Titans go sign a big name free agent, and he's like, no, I want to wear this number. They're going to say, oh yeah, that's fine. Because we're trying to brand our new free agent. Like you can't set the precedent that retired numbers is such a permanent thing, but like, that's why it's such an honor because it's such a permanent thing.
Zeke wore Dion's 21 in Dallas.
After it was retired.
Yeah. Dion said, yeah, you can wear it, young man. Things happen, dude. It happens. It happens.
I don't like it.
Malik Neighbors asked to wear whatever the jersey was with the Giants.
And what'd they say?
I think it was a no, but
good answer.
But Malik Neighbors is a wide receiver.
To me, but it's so
this is your quarterback number 1 overall. I think it's going to happen. I think they've set this thing up. It's already been worn in the Titans uniform by Gary Anderson. So there's press. It's going to be Warren Moon's already thinking about it. It's set up beautifully. It's perfect. A month ago, Oilers throwbacks are going on the shelves. So you're not going to see Cam Ward wear an Oilers throwback for a minimum two seasons. Minimum.
Yeah, and then you just bring back Oilers number 1, but it's a different player.
Maybe. I don't know if they're going to bring him back. The reason why I think they shelved him is because they realized
forever because you want to cater to Cam Ward's pretty little desire to wear his college number.
No. The reason why they shelved the Oilers throwbacks, in my opinion, this isn't based on any information, it's my opinion, is because they realized that the Oilers brand was a better seller than their actual brand.
Let me put it, if you're not able to brand Cam Ward in number 4 or 5 or 7 or 11 or 17, and he has to wear number 1 to be brandable, you got bigger problems.
I didn't say that. I didn't say he has to be.
If he has to steal Warren Moon's swagger in order to be brandable to Titans fans, you got a problem.
There is no stealing any swagger. There's none of that. I just think it's going to happen. I think the stars have aligned. They have set this up. We are now 2 steps in to Cam Ward wearing number 1. Oilers jerseys temporarily shelved for an undisclosed amount of time. Paul Kaharski asking Warren Moon, would you be open to it? I'm thinking about it. The Titans drafting Cam Ward tonight, number 1 overall, is step 3. Step 4 is he's going to hold the 1 up, right? On the draft stage. Everybody does that. And he's going to do that tomorrow at his press conference in Nashville. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to wear that jersey number.
Maybe I'm overreacting, right? Possibly. This actually matters to me. This to me is like a really uncomfortable way to start the Cam Ward era. Like, here's what I would love. I would love Cam Ward to get drafted by the Titans and then speak to us tomorrow at his press conference here in Nashville and say, somebody's going to ask him, right, Cam, what number are you going to wear? And he says, I don't know. I'll find some, but I'm going to change it. Why are you going to change it? Well, that's Warren Moon's number. If he says that, I'm like,
and then you know what the next question is going to be? Well, what if Warren says he'll let you wear one? That's the next follow-up question.
Right. And then I want to hear Cam Ward say, nah, man, that he's got it. That's all him. I'm gonna be Cam Ward. He can be Warren Moon. I'm gonna be Cam Ward.
I think they've already set this thing up. I think there's been discussions between Cam Ward and the Titans for weeks about this.
All right, we'll see, man. I don't know. Like, I actually care about this. I don't know. To me, this is such a it's indicative of like character in a weird way for me.
No. Do you know what number Derrick Henry first wore as a Titan?
No.
It wasn't 22.
No, yeah, I know, but I don't know.
2. You know what number AJ Brown first wore as a Titan? Because it wasn't 11 either.
Nope.
18.
All right.
You know what? Kevin Byard, 31 wasn't his first number. You know what that was?
Nope.
21.
I'm not going to get any of these, but
I know. But so the point is, like, Cam Ward might walk out there in a different, who knows what he's going to wear? Rookie minicamp.
None of those numbers are retired.
No, I know that. But like, the point is, like, they will change number. They will do some things. Like, they will figure things out, and he is going to wear number 1. I have the feeling it's going to happen. They've already set it up. It clicked. It's all lined up. I'll go through the steps again.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I'm not arguing over whether it will happen. I'm arguing whether it should happen.
I am okay with it because,
like, why did you know what was great? Tajay Spears last year when Derrick Henry left and Tajay was 22 in college. 22 was always his number. He was switching from 32. And I asked him on an interview with Tajay Spears, are you going to go to 22 now that it's available? And he said, hell no, man. That's Derrick Henry.
You can't. Yes, because Derrick just walked out of the building.
It's the same position. That's Derrick Henry. I know my place. I'm going to make number 2 iconic. That's my goal, is I'm going to make number 2 iconic.
Sure, that's fine.
Cam Ward, you don't need to be number 1. Go make number 4 iconic in Nashville. Go make number 7
that's
iconic.
That's Ryan Stonehouse's number. It's iconic in its own right.
Well, that's my king, but
I know. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any more super chats? All right, we already said like the show. And then look, here's the real battle. Who's wearing 16?
Probably still Treylon Burks. Like, let's be honest. Let's high character guy. Probably just going to pick a different number.
Let's be real. Tyler Lockett's going to be on the practice field way before Treylon Burks is going to be. So, I mean, it might be just, hey, can I borrow 16 while you're still rehabbing that ACL? Look, man, I think it's going to happen. You heard it here first. It's going to happen. It all lined up to me. And the signs are out there.
You heard it here first. I'm going to be mad about it when it happens.
That's fine. You can be mad. But they line it up. March 27th, Oilers jersey on the shelves. They line up. Cam Ward's going to be the pick. He goes on the Fortnite stream. Ooh, that jersey number looks pretty good, right? That looks pretty good. That one looks pretty good. Paul Karski asks Warren Moon. I'm thinking about it. They'll draft him tonight. And next, we'll find out when it happens. But he's going to be wearing number 1. That's just how I feel in my gut. Okay.
All right.
Are you ready for trivia so we can wrap up this draft day show?
I'm ready. I'm heated, but I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Shout out to Wilson County Hyundai, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. That's where you should go for all of your new car buying needs. They'll help you out in Lebanon, not Nashville, so save some money by going to Lebanon and online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Who do you need to be trivia master today? Can you handle it, or do you need me to do it? Me.
I mean, it's one-hand typing for me, which is not great for speed.
That's fair. That just means I have to open up a new window and get this thing set up. All right. Here we go. The board is ready. So if you want to switch over the graphic there, Sam, then you can do that while I do this.
Let me know when you're ready.
I am ready. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay.
Come on. Hey, you dropped the ball here. There we go.
I hit
major delay on your part.
That wasn't my fault. My computer's fault. Okay, we start with the NFL. We go counterclockwise around the board and finish with celebrity mashup in the middle of it. Let's see how we can do here. This running back was drafted 1 overall by the Bucs in 1986, then got drafted in round 7 with the 183 pick by the Raiders in 1987.
Drafted first overall?
Bo Jackson.
All right.
Brands and products. Founded in 1961, a panda is part of the logo for the Swiss-based international non-governmental organization focused on natural and animal preservation.
I can see the logo. Is it
World something. World
Wildlife Fund. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Television.
I was going to say World Health, but
from 2014 to 2019, the Emmy-nominated series Mr. Robot was on this cable channel.
Never seen it.
Me either. Chat. Let's go.
Chat.
Mr. Robot. Fox. I don't know. Anybody.
USA. A couple people saying USA.
USA Network. Okay. Movies. Jerry O'Connell played the number 1 overall quarterback Frank Cushman in this 1996 sports dramedy. Oh, no.
I love Jerry O'Connell.
I don't know who Jerry O'Connell is.
Kangaroo Jack.
Is this Jerry Maguire?
I don't think he wasn't in Jerry Maguire, was he? All right, maybe he wasn't Jerry Maguire. Go ahead.
Is that it?
That's what people are saying. I don't remember him being in Jerry Maguire, but all right. Well,
there you go. We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. Our lyrics from this 1987.
Love. You know the rules, and so do I. Never gonna give you up, baby. Never gonna give you up.
Not the
Never
song
gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and.
What's the song name, Sam?
I don't know, dude. I thought it was Never Gonna Give You Up. Give you up. I don't know. It's Rick Astley.
What's the song name?
Never. I thought it was Never Gonna Give You Up. I don't know. Try Give You Up. Is that on there? Never gonna give. Never gonna give. Uh-oh. All right.
What's the song name?
I mean, never. Try never going. Never gonna. Try never. See what comes up if you just write net. Go back to G. Never gonna give you up. Is it something love? Andrew says.
Oh, we're looking for the artist.
No. Oh, are we? Okay.
Yes. Dang.
Oh, my bad.
Orange.
Ice cream pops.
Yeah, brand.
It's the orange push pops. Wow, we're slow today. I don't know this one.
What brand sold Flintstones push pops? I don't know.
It's
Nabisco?
Not pops. It's.
We getting Nabisco in here?
I haven't seen creamsicle. Nope. Creamsicle. People are saying.
Two-time winners of the UEFA Champions League. Juventus is a football club from what country?
Juventus. Juventus is Spain, I would say, or maybe Portugal. La Liga, Juventus. That makes sense to me.
It's
well, Champions League is where
Italy.
Is Juventus in Serie A? No.
Italy is what American top.
I think it's La Liga. I think it's Spain.
We're getting Italy.
All right, go Italy, I guess. All right. I don't know.
After a career devastating injury, Derrick Rose, the number 1 seed Bulls, got upset.
I died that day. David Spade and America Ferrera. God, I'm such a ringer at this.
Who?
America Ferrera.
I didn't know that's a real person.
Well, you do now.
Double dips. All right, orange push pops.
Yeah, I don't know here.
I'm checking the chat on my phone because you're doing a terrible job of checking the chat.
I'm looking at the chat. The chat's not giving me anything right now. They're talking about Tennessee, where washed up wide receivers come to die. Come on, where are the push pop? Kraft? I don't know. Maybe Nestle makes sense to me.
Nestle?
Nestle most said. Yeah, go for
Kraft.
Go for Nestle. Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah. Good job.
No, that was the hardest on the board. So.
No, the NBA was the hardest on the board.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was.
But
luckily we have you who died that day.
Yeah, I died that day. That was the worst. I was at Chili's in Schaumburg, Illinois. That sucked. I remember I literally remember the exact table and chair I was sitting in and we had like the little corner Chili's TV that was not good. And everything was rolling. The Bulls were up by 25. They were about to take a 2-0 series lead. Everything was right in the world for the number 1 seed Bulls. And then Derrick Rose gets hurt. And because Tom Thibodeau had him in the game while they were up by 20 with 5 minutes to go. So.
All right. Poor trivia performance, but that's okay. Mark Tipton says, Cam as number 1 would allow everyone else to be told the story of Moon going to the CFL to play quarterback. It honors Moon.
Love it. Mark, based.
So you're in.
No, he says, oh, wait. No, wait, I disagree. I thought he was agreeing with me for a minute there.
No.
So I'm out.
Hey, you could say Cam Ward, IUW, or whatever Incarnate Word's initials are, and UIW, and the CFL, same thing. Start small, get to the big stuff, big time. We're number 1.
Sure. I'm not going to start the conversation again. I'm gonna listen to American Toff and just let it be. Let it be. Let it be.
We will see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. sharp. That is when the Titans are on the clock. 7:19 p.m. is when Cam Ward will be announced as the number 1 overall pick. And make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the show. It'll be Easton, Sam, and I tonight live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So get ready for that. Have a great draft day. Take a power nap if you need to. I'll be doing that. And we'll see you guys later on tonight. Appreciate it as always.
Let it be.